Federal prosecutors are urging a judge to reinstate former President Donald Trump's gag order. They're citing recent comments by Trump about his ex-chief of staff saying they represent an attempt to influence and intimidate a witness.
Joining us now, Khalif Rhodes is back with us to talk about this $10,000 fine against Trump. And Khalif, most people know, and as an attorney, that Trump's comments about things sometimes can put him in more hot water than others.
For sure.
Where are we with this? And if you were his attorney, what would you be advising?
Well, you got a couple different things. So you got the potential gag order, reinstatement of the gag order in the federal case. But then you have the gag order that is already still in place in the New York case. And so in the New York case, he's been fined twice, $5,000 last week and $10,000 this week. He actually had to take the stand. He made a comment when his everyday pressers in the hallway. He made a comment saying that there's one person up there that is against me, and that's the judge. And then the person sitting up there with him is also against me. And there were two people up there. There was the witness, Michael Cohen, and it was the judge's staff member. And so the judge had a conference and decided to put Trump on the stand, place him under oath, and have him say, well, who were you talking about? Were you talking about Michael Cohen, or were you talking about my staff member? Because if you were talking about my staff member, that violates the gag order. The judge says, you can talk about me all day, but you can't talk about any member of my staff because it stems from his post he made about the staff member. And so after that, the judge ended up fining him. Connecting the dots, Jack Smith and his team says, well, these comments that the former president makes online, on social media, and a number of other places are threatening and intimidating to witnesses. Obviously, you're the former most powerful person on the planet. And if you're using social media to kind of nudge me out of the way, then now I think that's kind of intimidating. And that's what Jack Smith is saying, that we need to put the gag order back in place to stop him from potentially intimidating witnesses.
When he left the courtroom in a hurry yesterday, even surprising some of his own attorneys.
Well, I would say if I'm advising him, back to your original question in the surprise, I wouldn't even have him there. He has no requirement to be there. So in that case, it's a civil case. He really does not have to show up. It was great that he was there in the beginning. But at this point, if you're using it as a political opportunity, that judge is going to let you know that he has no tolerance for that. And so, yeah, I would run out of there quickly because it can only go downhill. If you know you can't keep your mouth shut at all, using either social media or words, it's going to be hard to keep him muzzled. And so I would advise him to just not appear and not use social media to attack folks.
Good luck with that. It's hard to keep, even for us, it's hard to keep up with all of the different court cases that are going on in Trump. There's one in Florida and one in New York and one in D.C. So far, is he winning?
The New York case, well, the New York case, he's already lost. The judge has said, I've decided that there was fraud committed. I just have to decide how much fraud. In the Atlanta case, that's probably the only one where we have a score sheet, 19 co-defendants. 3 folks have already turned on you. Mark Meadows in the federal case is already saying, I'll work with the federal agents on this case. And so it doesn't look good. If it's a swinging pendulum, it's swinging towards the state and the federal government right now.